Hello everyone, back to me again. My name is Nathania. I'm from Management International Department and my study number is B1024201013. So today I will talk about chapter 6 of Human Resource Management that will talk about recruitment and labor markets. First of all, recruitment refers to the overall process of identifying, sourcing, screening, shortlisting, and interviewing candidates for jobs within an organization. Recruitment can also refer to the process involved in choosing individuals for unpaid roles. Recruitment is important because it determines the present and the future staffing requirements. It conducts a methodical examination of company operations to determine the right number of recruits necessary. Recruitment also prevents disruption of business activities. The process of recruitment ensures that the daily activities of the organization are carried out seamlessly. The recruitment process selects individuals from a variety of backgrounds to meet the organization's needs. Recruiting requires an employer to know the industry and where to successfully recruit qualified employees, identify keys to success in the labor market, including a competitor's recruiting efforts, cultivate relationship with sources of prospective employees, promote the company brand so that the employer is known as a good place to work, and and to use recruiting metrics in order to measure the effectiveness of recruiting efforts. Training on recruiting related activities, communication skills, and job specific details is common. Training recruiters may include the importance of employers engaging in ethical behaviors during recruiting efforts. Then, labor market components consist of labor force population, applicant population, and individuals selected. The broadest labor market component and measure is the labor force population, which is made up of individuals who are available for selection if all possible recruitment strategies are used. The applicant population is a subset of the labor force population that is available for selection if a particular recruiting approach is used. This population can be broad or narrow depending on the jobs needing to be filled and the approaches used by the employer. The applicant pool consists of all persons who are actually evaluated for selection. Many factors can affect the size of the applicant pool, including the reputation of the organization and industry as a place to work, the screening efforts of the organization, the job specifications, and the information available. When the applicant pool size increases, recruiters can consistently identify the most effective future employees for several jobs, and not just fill current jobs because of a larger supply. The consideration for determining application populations such as first, number and type of recruits needed, second is timing of recruiting to ensure timely placement, and the third is external and internal messages on job details. Fourth is qualification of competent applicants to be considered. Fifth is sources for obtaining qualified applicants. Sixth is outside and inside recruiting means to be used. Seven is administrative recruiting and application review activities. Recruiting for smaller firms can be challenging because they simply don't have the resources and in many cases, the bench strength or business experience that larger firms have. Many small firms are struggling not only with finding good candidates but also with thinking strategically about their overall employee strategy and how to address important topics like diversity and inclusion. Another obvious challenge that small firms face when it comes to the war for employee is the ability to compete with firms that have better budgets and the ability to offer far more attractive wage and benefit packages. Labor markets are the external supply pool from which employers attract employees. To understand where recruiting takes place, one can think of the sources of employees as a funnel, in which the broad scope of labor markets narrows progressively to the point of selection and job offers. The supply of workers in various labor markets differs substantially and affects staffing. Organizations recruit in a number of different labor markets, including industry-specific markets and occupational, educational and technical and geographic markets. It is important to understand the broad labor markets from which candidates are identified and attracted. Recruiting presence and image. Recruiting efforts may be viewed as either continuous or intensive. Continuous efforts to recruit over the advantage of keeping the employer in recruiting market. Intensive recruiting may take the form of a vigorous recruiting campaign aimed at hiring a given number of employees, usually within a short period of time. The employment brand or image of an organization is the view of it held by both employees and outsiders. Organizations that are seen as desirable, the employers are better able to attract qualified applicants than are those with poor reputations. A specific type of outsourcing uses professional employer, organization, and employee. Leasing an employer signs an agreement with the professional employer's organizations, after which the staff is hired by the leasing firm and leased back to the company for a fee. In turn, the leasing firm writes the paychecks, pays taxes, prepares and implements HR policies, and keeps all the required records for the employer. The PEO and the employment agency are different types of entities. A PEO has its own workforce, which it supplies by contract to employers with jobs. However, an employment agency provides a work-finding service for job seekers and supplies employers with applicants whom they may then hire. A number of employers have decided that the cost of keeping a regular workforce has become excessive and is growing worse due to economic, competitive, and governmental considerations. The larger number of employment regulations also constrains the employment relationship, making many employers reluctant to hire new regular full-time employees. Flexible staffing uses workers who are not traditional employees. Using flexible staffing arrangements allows an employer to avoid some of the cost of full-time benefits, such as vacation pay and pension plans. Temporary workers are contracted workers who perform a job for only a short amount of time. A temporary worker can be hired directly by a company or work for a staffing agency that sends them out on temporary jobs. Temporary employment is different from others because of the job's certain time frame. An independent contractor is an individual who may run their own business but also performs work for other businesses. The reason for the use of independent contractor is that some employers experience significant savings because benefits are not provided to those individuals. Recruiting as a key employment-related activity is subject to various considerations, especially equal employment laws and regulations. Organizations must work to reduce external disparate impact or underrepresentation of protected class members compared to the labor market utilized by the employer. The Equal Employment Opportunities Commission, or EEOC, guidelines state that no direct or indirect references implying gender or age are permitted. These guidelines affect interviews, advertisements, and other recruiting activities. As we know that the internet makes it easier for many employers to search for job candidates and for applicants to look for jobs. Some reasons that make employers use the internet recruiting are adjusting general employer recruiting system to use new approaches, identifying new types of recruiting for specific jobs, and training managers and HR professionals on technical recruiting sources, skills, and responsibilities. Many people initially use the social media more than job board sites. Internet connections often include people who work together as well as past personal contracts and friends. Social networking sites allow job seekers to connect with employees of potential hires. Often those doing recruiting can send individuals to the company website and then process candidates using electronic resumes or completed online application. The advantages of internet recruiting such as first, many employers have saved money using internet recruiting versus other recruiting methods such as newspaper advertising, employment agency, and search firms, all of which can cost substantially more. And the second is a very large pool of applicants can be generated using internet recruiting. One side benefit of internet recruiting is that jobs literally are posted globally, so potential applicants in other geographic areas and countries can view job openings posted on the internet. And the third advantage is internet recruiting also can save time. Applicants can respond quickly to job posting by sending electronic responses Recruiters can respond more rapidly to qualified candidates in order to obtain more necessary applicant information, request additional candidate details, and establish times for further communication, including interview. While the disadvantages of internet recruiting, such as first, internet recruiting often creates additional work for HR staff members and others internally. More online job postings must be sent. Many more resumes might be reviewed. More emails, blogs, and Twitters need to be dealt with. And expensive specialized software may be needed to track the increased number of applicants resulting from internet recruiting efforts. And the second is some applicants may have limited internet access, especially individuals from lower socioeconomic groups and from certain racial or ethnic groups. And the third is disadvantages is many individuals who access the internet recruiting sources are browsers who may submit resumes just to see what happens, but they are not actively looking for new jobs. External recruiting sources such as first, media sources such as newspaper, television, radio, and billboards. Internet usage has led to media sources being available online, including postings, ads, videos, webinars, and many other expanding media services. And the second sources is competitive recruiting sources such as other sources for recruiting include professional and trade associations, trade publication, and competitors. Such sources may be useful for recruiting the specialized professional needed in an industry. The third is employment agencies, both public and private. Most agencies have websites that potential applicants can use without having to go to their office. For a fee collected from either the employee or the employer, these agencies do some preliminary screening and put employers in touch with applicants. The fourth is labor unions, which may be useful source of certain types of workers. A labor pool is generally available through a union, and workers can be dispatched from the hiring hall to particular jobs to meet the needs of employers. In some instances, labor unions can control or influence recruiting and staffing activity. Unions can benefit employees through apprenticeship and cooperative staffing programs. The fifth source is job fairs and creative recruiting. Job fairs have been held by economic development entities, employer and HR associations, and other community groups to help bring employers and potential job candidates together. Creative recruiting methods sometimes can be used to generate a pool of qualified applicants so that jobs can be filled in a timely manner. The sixth is educational institution and recruiting. College and university students are a significant source of entry-level professionals and technical employees. However, it can be expensive and require significant time and effort. Employers need to determine whether both current and future jobs require persons with college degrees in specific fields. The advantages of external recruiting are: first, new sources bring new perspective. Second, training new hires may be cheaper and faster because of prior external experience. Third, new hires are likely to have fewer internal political supporters in the firm. Fourth, new hires may bring new industry insights and expertise. While the disadvantages of external recruiting are: first, the firm may not select someone who will fit well with the job and the organization. Second, the process may cause morale problems for internal candidates are not selected. And third is new employees may require longer adjustment periods as well as orientation efforts. What to include in an effective recruiting ad, such as: first, information on the application process consists of job title and responsibilities, geographic or flexible location of job, starting pay range, acceptance of online applications, where or how to submit application or resume details, and closing date of application. And the second is desired candidate qualifications that consist of years of experience, 3 to 5K characteristic of successful candidates, and special useful work capabilities. And the third is information on the organizational consists of organizational values and culture, an EEO employer, primary business capabilities, and unique characteristics and recognition. Finally, this chapter is talk about recruitment and labor markets. I have learned that recruitment process is one of the important things for a successful business because it will affect how organization achieve its objective or goals through the employees or applicants. Efforts should be made to recruit a diverse workforce, including older workers, individuals with disabilities, women, and members of racial or ethnic groups, the use of internet for recruiting also gives an easier and effective way for organizations in seeking job seekers that fit with the organization's needs. However, organizations still have to pay more attention in deciding the right employees because employees will give big impact to organizations or business life. Then, this is the end of my discussion about chapter 6. I hope this could be useful information. Thank you for your attention.